Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Arkham Knight Scarecrow. And before we get into the meat and taters of this review, kindly moving Mr. Johnny Crane out of the way. Take a look-see at both the front and the back. Your standard DC Multiverse packaging. Really creepy picture of him on the back there. My throws have been very weak as of late. I need to work out. Moving Mr. Crane back into frame here. Throwing off the white balance, even though he's not a white figure. Weird. We, of course, need to take a look-see at the collectible trading card. Right there you go. It's got that creepy, I don't know if that's a render from the game or what, but it's very dark and I can barely see what's going on, but you can definitely see the face. By on the back that you can pause and read at your own leisure. That about does it for the trading card. Long story short, those of you not familiar with the Arkham games, in Batman Arkham Asylum, Scarecrow got straight up jumped and messed up by Killer Croc, and that's why he's got this nifty leg brace. Because Croc pretty much jacked this guy up. I think almost killed him. So he wasn't really around for Arkham City, but he was I want to say he was the main antagonist for Arkham Knight, other than maybe the Arkham Knight himself. I don't know. I wasn't able to check that one out because it came out on a newer system that neither I or my dad had at the time. So we still haven't really sat down and experienced that yet, but I'll have to check a Let's Play or some cutscene footage out at some point to familiarize myself with the story, because this game has some pretty gruesome stuff in it. Like the Man-Bat design from this game is quite terrifying, but kind of keeping my fingers crossed that we get to figure that out. And one of Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum, because that is without a doubt one of my favorite versions of Scarecrow. I love that version of Scarecrow. In fact, I would take a 10-inch, 12-inch mega figure of Scarecrow from that game, because if you remember, when he hits you with the fear gas, he got really big and his eyes were like searchlights, and if you stepped into him, he would smack down on you with his big needle hand. Really cool, man. But taking a closer look at this Scarecrow, comes with the hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases. I gotta tell you, this may be in my top multiverse figures of the year. Still on the fence on whether or not I'm gonna make that video, but if it's something you guys want to see, let me know. I've been debating on just doing a top 10 overall figures and just cutting all the other lists, just because it's time and it's kind of late and I'm still playing catch up, you know. But I really like this figure. Scarecrow being one of my favorite Batman villains definitely helps. Granted, I kind of prefer him with a sickle and kind of like a freaky burlap head, but this one, I like the gas mask look too. I always thought that was a cool look, if you could see up in there. He's got the hangman's noose around his neck. I always like that too. I say, if anything, the head sculpt and the noose around his neck here are really what's doing it for me with this figure. Because the rest is alright, but, you know, it's kind of plain as far as the colors go. There's not a lot going on. He's got the fear gas on his chest here, which is kind of what I wish they did with the Bane Mega figure. It wasn't from the Arkham games, but he's got the tank strapped to this harness going around him. And I think if they put Venom tanks on Bane like they got tanks on this guy, it would have made that a little bit better in my opinion. But let's face it, that figure's undeniably amazing. He's got a lot of tubers, so be careful with that. But for the most part, pretty, you know, sturdy, solid figure. McFarlane Toys fare. But as far as articulation goes, standard, you know, double ball peg in the head. Look at this. Oh, never mind. I thought he could look up a lot more than that, but yeah, he doesn't have much up and down in the head at all. It's just kind of a swivel, but it's Scarecrow. It doesn't need to. It's got a shoulder that goes out to the side. He doesn't appear to have the floaty caps. I don't think he needs them. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a swivel forward and back. He's got a double elbow. Here you go. Pretty clean, not bad. On this side, you got that tuber over here. Just connected to his gauntlet and the bicep here, but it's pretty gummy, and this elbow isn't the tightest joint ever. So that's probably for the best. It's got the standard ball hinge wrists. So those work pretty well. He's got like a normal hand here where he's got, of course, the crazy needle fingers over here. Kind of thick and locked into one sculpt, but that's probably for the best because it's a lot sturdier that way. Wait a minute. It's got like a Wolverine claw. I didn't notice that. His fingers are clearly curled up here. Like in a fist. And he's got a straight up claw. That's pretty cool. I didn't notice that before. Because the only other figure I have of this version of Scarecrow is the Mattel DC Multiverse one, which is like a little 4-inch figure. I did not know that was a straight Wolverine claw. That is cool. I like that. Learn something new every day. He's got the diaphragm joint, which really doesn't do much. I think it's just the big tube that goes up inside there. And you got these tubers connected to, I think, a lower piece here. So be best not to screw with that too much, or you're not going to get a ton of range out of it anyways. Now the legs. The right leg is your standard McFarlane Toys articulation. It's got the in and out, forward and back. It's got a little bit of a thigh quiver in there. Not a lot. I mean, it's freaking Scarecrow. He doesn't need to be doing ninja kicks. He's not Nightwing, or even Red Hood for that matter. I thought he had a better thigh cut. I guess not. He's got a double knee. Does stay locked into place, though it is kind of loose when you start moving it around. He's got the sculpted ankle ball here, but it's nice and tight on this guy. And he's got a toe joint and the peg hole at the bottom of the foot. But on this side, you can see he's got this ankle brace, this leg brace going on. Because like I said before, Killer Croc jacked him up and made him a punk beach. But this leg, it has a single bend in the knee. You can only go so far with it. About that far, which is about 90, so it's not bad. It's fine. It's pinned up here and here, so it is an actual working, kind of piston. So that's pretty cool. There is no like rotation or anything down there, but just be careful with this. You don't want to break it, but it feels pretty sturdy. And then the foot, it's just on a hinge, which that kind of sucks because I would have liked a little bit of rocker in there, just a tiny bit. There does not appear to be any whatsoever, unless mine is just stuck and I need to heat it and get it to work. But it does not feel like there's any tilt in that foot. So he's a little tricky to stand, but I can get him to stand no problem. The tight ankles definitely help. But yeah, really solid release. Definitely a little bit better than the Arkham Knight himself, in my opinion, just based off the fact that he can freaking stand. And I just like Scarecrow more as a character. Sorry, not sorry. But him being my favorite Batman villain, I think they did, excuse me, a frog in my throat here. I think they did a pretty good job, all things considered. Is it the Scarecrow I wanted? Well, in all honesty, out of all the Arkham games, I think the Arkham Asylum designs are the ones I like the most. But this one is no slouch. I really like this one. But I would like to see a more traditional looking Scarecrow in this line, or better yet, that Arkham Asylum one. I'd really like that Mega Figure idea I had. That would be really sick. But with that being said, before this review drags out any longer than it already has, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons, which, if you're familiar with my reviews as of late, are just going to be our two regulars just to save on time and, well, quite frankly, my sanity, because I already put the Arkham Knight away and I really don't feel like digging him out again. And as promised, here is good old Johnny Crane alongside our two regulars, the Mythical Agents Brother Mandibulus, McFarlane Spawn, who to my surprise ain't towering over everyone today, because as you can clearly see, the Scarecrow is just the slightest bit taller than good old Al Simmons here. Very surprising indeed, because I'm used to Scarecrow being kind of short and gangly, but hey, this definitely makes him intimidating, that's for sure. So with that being said, kind of wrap things up, some final thoughts. Overall, and I gotta be 110% honest with you guys, this figure right here is quite the pleasant surprise to me. Not only because of its size, I mean, it's not every day that a figure is taller than the mighty McFarlane Spawn, okay? But also, I just really enjoy posing this guy around. In subtle poses, of course, he does have his limitations, but first and foremost, it's freaking Scarecrow. Second of all, it's freaking Scarecrow with a freaking leg brace, and considering the limitations they had going for it, McFarlane Toys did a really good job implementing the articulation where they could, so I'm totally okay with it being limited. I don't expect to put this guy into any crazy poses in the near to distant future, or even beyond that, or sooner than that. I think subtle poses like this one here do the figure enough justice to where, yeah, I can fully 110% recommend it to the right person. So if you like the Arkham series, if you like Scarecrow, if you're looking for a Scarecrow to add to your McFarlane shelf and aren't sold on the previous versions and want one with a good old-fashioned pair of legs, then this one, in my opinion, is, I think, the best option, because while the new Frontier one is cool for being different, it is a little weird with the very Mortal Kombat-esque aesthetics going for it. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please feel free to do all the YouTube rigmarole, as well as hit me up over on Instagram at Overlord Productions if you ever want to talk toys or anything specific. That's the #1 best way to get a hold of yours truly. But as always, keep the comments civil. This world sucks enough as it is, especially when a 10-foot anthropomorphic crocodile man kicks the crap out of you and leaves you for dead. It's a bad day, man. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.